Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing representing my squad. And today I got a treat for you. I am showcasing Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragons for the first time on this channel. I played this deck way back in 2012. I actually just picked it up because the artwork was so daggone beautiful. I love the concept of kind of outer space warriors riding dragons, and spellcasters and warriors and dragons just together in one deck is always lovely. Next to fairies, those are kind of like my favorite kinds of monsters. And the artwork of the deck was so beautiful. It's just such an amazing deck. It was able to just do some really nutty plays. It's one of the best rank 8 base decks. It kind of has a toolbox for rank 8s, rank 5s, and rank 4s. And in my build, you can do rank 9s as well. So it's pretty versatile in the XYZ summoning mechanic. The deck is actually going to be getting it's going to be getting better in the future because we're getting support for it. But as it stands right now, I still find that it's a semi-fun / kind of pseudo-competitive deck. I believe that its tier sits at tier 2.5, not at 3. It's a little bit better than a tier 3 deck. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and showcase the build. And for some of the cards, I might have to explain them because a lot of people just don't know what this deck does. But yeah, I'm just going to hop right into it. So we're playing 3 copies of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Love the artwork, love the artwork of this card, by the way. This card, I know that there's some Blue Eyes fans out there. Trust me, I'm a Blue Eyes fan myself. I love Blue Eyes and I love Kaiba. But this card's artwork is absolutely hands down better than Blue Eyes. I feel like he was just supposed to be a better Blue Eyes. It's almost like, I feel like at one point in time, I thought that he was Blue Eyes just in the future or something. But this guy is the literal boss of the deck. Similar to Blue Eyes and Red Eyes and Dark Magician, he is the heart and soul of your deck. And as cliche as it sounds, I know a lot of people like to rinse, wash, and repeat terms that they hear from others. That is actually literal in this deck. He is the heart and soul. A lot of cards and effects specifically list him in their text, like Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. He needs to be under some of your XYZ materials, under some of your XYZs as materials in order for them to get their effects. If they don't have him, they won't get their effects. He's that important. That's why I actually maximized him at 3. I saw a lot of bad builds, a lot of cringeworthy builds on YouTube. In fact, that's really one of the main reasons why I wanted to showcase this profile, because there are literally no good builds on YouTube. All of them were horrible. They were just cringeworthy. I didn't understand. So I just wanted to put, this is going to be the best build you see on YouTube. I just wanted to put a good build. But yeah, you always want to play 3 of this card. He's so amazing. He's way too important to not play at 3. And when we get the new support, you're still going to need to play him at 3 even more. You're trying to get him to your hand as quickly as possible. You need 1 engrave, 1 in hand at all times. Everything in fluctuation. You kind of just need more than enough ways to get to him. You want to be greedy with all of your ways to search him out, because if you can't search him out, you're normally not able to do much. Because your Galaxy Knight thrives off of having him. You really need to get your combo started off through him. He can summon himself with ease. He is a battle god. You can't really kill him by battle. Whenever he attacks or is attacked, he banishes himself and the monster he's battling. If it's an XYZ, he will get 500 for each material that it had prior to him banishing it, because obviously when you banish it, it loses its materials. And it's really, really good. You're able to summon him pretty easily, so he's not really gonna have an issue of having him dead in hand. It's not like in Blue Eyes where you draw 1 or 2 Blue Eyes and it's dang, if I don't have a trade and it sucks. You draw this guy, you can even special summon him through his effect. It's never a dead card, trust me. We have triple Galaxy Knight. I actually think that Photon, that Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and Galaxy Knight are blood brothers. I think that they're blood brothers. I really think so. This guy, his effect is solely catered to Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. What he does is, if you control a Photon or Galaxy monster, you can normal summon it without tributing. That's important because obviously this monster is a level 8. Beautiful artwork, by the way. You just get to Monster Reborn your Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Only him, and specifically him, no other monster. Remember I was telling you earlier in the beginning, this card is very, very important. So yeah, I play 3 because as things stand right now, he is the best turn 1 play of the deck. We don't have the new support yet, so the deck really is it's not afforded a lot of options for the kind of things it can do. You either Galaxy Soldier into rank 5s or you Galaxy Knight into rank 8s. And then sometimes you're able to use your extenders, all of your recovery cards, your Galaxy Zeros, your Reborns, your Cloud Dragons, to make your rank 8s without this. Even your Galaxy Expedition helps, but this is the most this is the least resource intensive way to make your rank 8s, because you have to think of it as a 1-card combo. You just normal summon him, bring out your Galaxy Eyes, and you have a rank 8 right there. And the deck's playstyle is really catered to setting up for this play specifically. So it's never really going to be a bad draw. It's never really going to be like a dead draw. And once we get the new support, you can easily cut this to 2. While it is very important because you're always using one turn 1 and normally turn 2 you're using another one, you're going to have a way to recycle our stuff back into our deck. So you can easily play 2 of this in the future. But right now, you actually do need to maximize on it, whether you're playing Desires in your list or not. Because turn 1 you're using 1, turn 2 you're using 1. If you're not able to kill your opponent after turn 2, normally turn 3 you're using this in tandem with Galaxy Zero and other revival cards to just try to OTK as quickly as possible. We have 3 copies of Galaxy Wizard. He is probably one of the best Stratos monsters that I've seen. What he does is he tributes himself for cost. He adds a Galaxy card from deck to hand. He also has another effect on field that allows you to increase his level by 4, making him a level 8. And none of his effects are once per turn. That's why I was like, he's a really good Stratos because he's flexible. He can make rank 8 plays or he can search. You can even do both in the same turn. You can normal him, boost his level up to 8, activate Galaxy Expedition. You can summon Soldier or Photon Dragon. Then you could tribute him for cost, search a Galaxy Zero, kind of, extend your plays a little bit, especially once we get the Link Monster. It's just going to become really, really good. So yeah, we have triple Wizard, hands down, one of your better starters. Probably the best starter play of the deck is Soldier. Soldier's job is to actually discard your Photon Dragon and search out Knight. So we all know what Soldier does. Like, everybody played him in not his own deck. They played in ABC, Cyber Dragons, etc., etc. But he's the best in his own deck. Not only is he searchable, revivable through their plethora of Monster Reborn-esque effects, but he's also a much better starter play in this deck. His combo, the way you combo off with him is incredible. He actually allows you to make some really, really above decent and above average boards. You're never using Soldier to search Soldier. It's such a rare occasion. Like, you can do your Infinity plus your Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord if you already open up with Galaxy Knight. But if not, you're using Soldier to discard your Photon Dragon and search your Knight straight up and down. So it's just like a 2-card combo. If you open with Soldier and the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, you have an instant rank 8 plus that extra body on field. So if you open with Thrasher, you can go into your Link and then your Photon Lord. Really good starter play. And sometimes he can even be like a mid to late kind of recursion because he does search one of your better recovery cards, which is Knight, and also Wizard. And Wizard can search out your Monster Reborn, which is Galaxy Zero. So Soldier's just really amazing in this deck. We have 3 copies of Photon Thrasher. Thrasher is amazing in this deck, believe it or not. He is like in tandem with Soldier. He's a really good starter. The unfortunate thing is he's not as flexible. Like where Soldier can be a starter, he can be a mid to late, he can even be a mid combo play. Thrasher's kind of only going to be a starter in this deck. It's rare when you ever need to recover your board to that point. If you've gotten your board busted wide open to the point where you control no monsters, you've probably already got OTK'd after that. But if not, you can always drop the second one. But he's here solely so you could drop him. And then what you're trying to do in this deck, your goal is to make your Link monster first, and then go into your Infinity and your Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. And if not, you're going to your Photon Lord with your Link monster. Like, it's a lot better to do that because not only are you boosting all the attack of them, but once we get the new Link monster, the Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon, you're going to be enabled yourself to put more threats on the board, more disruption, and he's an automatic recursion on summon. So Thrasher is a really good combo piece. He really is. Getting that extra body on field allows you to not waste stuff like Soldier and like Knight and Photon Dragon. You want to use them for your XYZ materials and not your Link materials. So it's always nice to have Thrasher. And then we have some one-offs. We have one Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon. He is basically just a Monster Reborn on legs. He summons a Galaxy Eyes monster from hand or graveyard, which is really cool. You don't even need to always have to have a valid target in grave to resolve his effect. In grave, he can also attach himself from the graveyard to a Galaxy Eyes as a XYZ material. So he can reload your Photon Lord, so that way you don't have to waste his search on giving him a material, which is really cool. So yeah, he's a great recovery play. In fact, he honestly, like, he is an extender. He really is. Like, he gets you really far. because he can reset your Photon Lord, just summon him and then put it under a material. So like this one card can bring him back and give him material. So you have a whole nother threat off of one card, and it's gonna net you a search of Photon Sanctuary. So it's just gonna pay for itself. It can be considered a +1 in terms of card economy. So Cloud Dragon, really amazing. Just find it to be a one-of, because when the new support comes out, it's gonna be even easier to search. And we already have so many kind of Monster Reborn-esque effects that you don't really need to overkill it. That's why I find that you don't need to play like, you know, triple Return of the Dragon Lords and stuff like that. This deck doesn't operate in a similar way to Blue Eyes. Their dragon decks, well, not really. Blue Eyes is more of a dragon deck than this one. But this deck is like, it's more of like a rank 8 turbo, and it doesn't really play any dragons except for these 3. So like your recovery cards are different than in Blue Eyes, but like similar to Blue Eyes, you do play a lot of recovery cards, like a lot of Grave Recursion. We do play one Photon Satellite. This is one of my spicy techs. This is here to give me the option to make rank 9s. Obviously, I'm making True King of all Chlamydia because that's my favorite rank 9. Honestly, it's my favorite XYZ. If I could make Chlamydia in a deck, I'm playing it. You know, like that's, you guys know me, man. Like that's my dude. Chlamydia, like, man, we go way back. You know what I'm saying? And I know you're going to comment something stupid. It's like talking about diseases and stuff. But we have the one Photon Satellite solely to make True King of all Chlamydia. If you want to, you can even Special Thrasher normal this guy. Instant rank 5. Instant rank 5. It could be generic. It doesn't specify that you have to go into anything, you know, like any type of particular monster. But if you don't know what his effect does, he targets another Photon monster. And if you didn't know, this guy is a Galaxy and Photon monster, both of them at the same time, always and forever. And he makes both their levels their combined levels. So you go 1 and 8, they both become level 9s. Instant rank 9, just like that. I do play the Archbrave and Goliath package simply because I needed something to increase my ceiling. This deck loves to go first, and you really want to make some of the best and most optimal turn 1 boards. And I find that going against Gokis, it's a lot better to lock them out of their extra deck than it is to, you know, set up with 1 or 2 negates, because depending on their hand, if it's the God hand with Soul Charge and stuff like that, you really can't do anything to stop them from going off. So it's a lot better to just prevent them from going into their extra deck altogether. You can even set up with a negate plus this, and I'll get into that when we get into the traps, to make sure that they can't basically go Suprex into Twist Cobra, because you will negate the Suprex and just basically cut them out of that play. So that's it for the monsters. You don't have to play the Archbrave Goliath package, but like I said, like you really need something in this deck to make it more competitive, and that increases your ceiling by a minimum of 17%. Your win-lose ratio will be a lot different if you don't play this package. And if you draw it, it's a trade-in target. You can even discard with some of the spells. If you draw this, it's a trade-in. It's not a trade-in target. It's a Galaxy Soldier target. And also you can discard it with some of your spells. So they're never always going to be dead in your hand. And plus they're one-of, so it's a rare occasion when you draw them. But when you do draw them, you can sometimes make them work with the rest of the cards in your hand. For our spells, we have 3 copies of Photon Sanctuary. This card is going to be so freaking amazing when we get that Link monster, bro. I mean, this is going to be one of the most incredible starter and recovery plays. Like, it's a 1-card combo, honestly. But not right now. All it does is make Hyperstar. Towards November or October, when we get that Link monster, you can use this to make Soul Flare, add Knight from your grave to your hand, normal Knight, make a rank 8 and a Link 2 all off of 1 card, bro. That's sauce. But what it does is it summons 2 tokens. They're level 4s and they have 2,000 attack. You can only summon light monsters the turn you activate this. The only time that hurts is if you want to go Dark Matter with the Archbrave, but you just kind of weigh the pros and cons and consider which one's the more impactful play for your turn 1 board. So we have triple Sanctuary, and it's not once per turn, by the way, so you can Link Climb with this. It's really good. You can even just go double Hyperstar if you want. Just Hyperstar here, you know, put something there, Hyperstar there, just a OTK. It's really, really good. There's no restriction except for only being able to summon lights, but it's not even gonna hurt you. We play triple trade-in. We do have 6 targets and they're searchable. And what I really love about trade-in is not even because it's draw power. I love the fact that it's able to get my Photon, my Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in the graveyard where he belongs. As long as you can get 1 copy of Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in the grave, the rest of them you can do what you want with them. but you need to get one in the grave for your Galaxy Knight play. And trade-in really helps you to not only set up for that play, but dig deeper into your deck for your combo pieces. And when you're drawing 2, you're going to hit a combo piece because this deck has a lot of combo pieces. It is a very, very combo-centric deck, and it's fun to play. It's quite a lovely deck. If you pick it up, you probably fall in love with it like I did. We have 2 copies of Pot of Desires. Everything that's basically like extremely important and pivotal, they're all at 3. So you don't really have that issue. And then also this deck has a high search ability. So you're normally able to net all of the cards that you need from your deck to your hand first before you pot. And that's the beauty of playing pot in decks like these that have that high search ability. Very, very consistent deck. Not overdone like Draco's like I mentioned earlier, but it's definitely above like average, the fact that this deck is able to get all of the cards that it needs with ease. We do play 2 melodies. Unfortunately, because we do not have the new support, the Photon Vanisher, we need more ways to get Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. As I specified earlier in the video, like you need him in your hand turn 1. You need more ways to search him because sometimes you don't want to waste a Galaxy Soldier search off of him when you're trying to use Galaxy Soldier to search other cards. And sometimes you have to do it, but it definitely is normally a waste. It's so much better to just discard this for your Galaxy Soldier. So much better. So I do play 2 melodies. When we get Photon Vanisher, this will easily become Photon Vanisher. But right now, you need a way to search your Galaxy Dragon without using your important stuff like Soldier and even Wizard sometimes. So like I do find that it is very, very necessary. And it does help you to basically get your Galaxy Eyes out of your deck before you also Pot of Desire. So that's an added benefit. We also have more 2-ofs. We have 2 copies of Excel Light. Excel Light is pretty darn good in this deck. It's like a starter play, similar to Photon Thrasher, but it can also be a really, really good recuperation and a recovery play. It basically special summons a level 4 lower Photon or Galaxy monster from your deck. You're normally always going for Wizard just so you can tribute in for cost. If you open with this in Expedition, you're going to summon Wizard, make them a level 8, activate Expedition, and then tribute in for cost, and then get your search. You know, do some Soldier combos. A lot of shenanigans that you can start off of Excel Light. We have 2 copies of Galaxy Expedition. I find that you don't need more than 2. You normally end up running out of targets really quickly with this deck, so it's a rare occasion when the 3rd one ever comes up. You could play 3 if you want to see it that often, but it is searchable, and at the same time, it is a hard once per turn. So I don't think that you need 6 copies of it. Well, not 6. I think you already have 8 copies of it because you have the Soldiers and the Wizards and then these 2. So I don't think that you need more. And technically, like I always say in terms of card economy, Excel Light is 2 extra copies of this because Excel Light allows you to special summon your Galaxy Wizard from the deck, and he searches this out. So I find that you have more than enough ways to search this card. You don't want to play bricks. You don't want to have bricky hands, drawing too many of your hard ones per turn like effects. So I find that like this works really perfectly for me. And when we get the future support, you're going to be able to recycle this back from your graveyard to your deck. So you don't even need to play more than 2. I think if you're playing 3, it's kind of incorrect, but it's player preference. We have 2 Galaxy Zero. This is so good. It's basically Spiral Big Red is a replica of what this is. Plain and simple. If you play Spirals or if you know what Big Red does, you know that this is an equipped monster reborn, except when it leaves the field, the monster doesn't die. And then what's really cool is instead of protecting it from being destroyed by battle, it says if it would be destroyed, period, during the battle phase, you destroy this card instead. So if you're in battle phase and your opponent tries to kill your monster by card effect, this will prevent it from being destroyed by that card effect because it doesn't specify battle. It says if the monster will be destroyed during the battle phase, which is really cool. I like that. It's just an extender. It's a follow-up. It allows you to get that recovery. That's why I don't play Return of the Dragon Lords in this deck because, believe it or not, Return of the Dragon Lords bricks a lot. Because every time you get a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in your graveyard, you already special summon it from your graveyard with all your other effects. So you'll have a Return and a Galaxy Knight, and you'll be like, oh, I can't use both of them. And that's happened for me. And this is another one of the reasons why. Like, you just don't need it. So if you're playing Return, just don't. You don't need to. And you only have 3 targets anyways. We have 1 7th one. This is basically like a God card in this deck. It really is. It's like a Zodiac Barrage. It does so much. You normally, some people over-exaggerate with stuff, but this is not an over-exaggeration. Normally, when you draw the 7th one in this deck, you win the duel. Because what this does, if your opponent doesn't respond to it, you end up getting to summon your monster. They can't negate the summon at that point. And you end up basically making all cards on the field have their effects negated, and your opponent can no longer activate cards or effects for the rest of the turn. So it's a Yugioh lock plus Numeron Force, if you know what Numeron Force does. Negate everything on the field, and your opponent's hand traps are frozen. They can literally do nothing. They're a sit and duck. You have free reign to do everything that you want to do. Continuing with the one-ups, we have one for one. 1-for-1 is an extender. It literally is going to get either your Photon Satellite or your Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon. I find that those monsters are so amazing that I wanted to incorporate 1-for-1 solely for them because they're really good. We have Monster Reborn and Soul Charge. Pretty much concludes the spells. Soul Charge is pretty good in this deck. And the cool thing is, normally you're not able to make crazy boards because we don't have the Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon. But similar to Blue Eyes, when you Soul Charge with this deck, you normally win the duel. For our traps, we have 2 Tachyon Transmigration. This trap is amazing. It's beyond broken. What it does, if you control Galaxy Eyes monster, you negate when your opponent, basically you negate the activation of spells and or traps and monsters that were activated before this card in this chain. So if you don't understand what that means, think of it this way. If you're playing against Gokis and they go Chainlink 1, 2, and 3, Goki Chainlink 3, you can activate this card and literally negate Chainlink 3, 2, and 1. This defies logic. It breaks the rules because the purpose of Chainlinks and establishing them accordingly is so that your opponent would not be able to respond to the lowest card in the chain, because when everything resolves backward, normally you kind of miss your window of opportunity to respond. But this card absolutely breaks the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! And says everything that was prior to this card in the Chainlink is negated and then shuffled into the deck. And if you have Tachyon, you can play this from your hand like an impermanence, and it's a counter trap. I really love it. You're always spamming out Galaxy Eyes turn 1. This is your turn 1 play all the time. Your Cloud Dragons of Galaxy Eyes, your main deck monsters of Galaxy Eyes. This is never dead. I did not understand why none of the Galaxy Eyes decks that I saw was playing this, but it was, like I said, it was cringeworthy. None of them were good. You need to play this card, but not at 3. It will brick with you. It will brick for you at 3. You want to draw this next, like when you do your Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter play and you get that kind of domain kind of lock, you want to have this in your hand because it's a stronger lock. But this card, in bare minimum, it's a negation. Even it can negate Chainlink 1. You can flip it as Chainlink 2 and negate Chainlink 1. So think of it as this. It's a solemn scolding that you don't have to pay life points for. It negates anything and it shuffles. It doesn't destroy. It does not ever miss timing. And if you activate it as Chainlink 5 or higher, that's when your opponent really starts taking those major negs. So this is the most skillful counter trap in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I have never seen a counter trap better than it. We have 2 Tachyon KX holes as well. These traps increase your ceiling if you play them, and if you don't play them, your ceiling's a lot lower than what it could be. These increase the potential of the deck. If your opponent gets rid of any of your Galaxy monster, your XYZs, however they want to get rid of it, you basically destroy all face-up cards that your opponent controls, and then you banish them. And then whenever you want to, you can skip your next draw phase. Not literally the next. You can skip your draw phase whenever you want to, and then banish this from the grave and revive one of your Galaxy monsters. So this is a revival, just like Galaxy Zero and Monster Reborn and Soul Charge and Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon. It provides a follow-up. So it's a board wipe with a follow-up built into it. Do you understand how broken that is? Imagine if Raigeki and Soul Charge had a baby. This is Raigeki and Soul Charge having a baby. It's so good. It really is. All right, so our extra deck, we have 2 copies of Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. I'm going into this guy always turn 1. I play 2 because I find that it's more optimal to play 2. You go into this a lot more frequently than any other extra deck card because he's so broken. He protects himself from being destroyed by card effects. He searches through your deck, gets you any Photon or Galaxy card. When we get the new support, he has a lot more searching options. He will even provide a lot of extenders for you. And then he negates monster effects during any player's turn. So he's a spot-on boss monster. He's normally at 3,500, could have hyped the stars, so he's really good. We have Tachyon Dragon, number C, 107. This is the card you summon off of the 7th one. You win the duel. He negates all other cards on the field besides itself, so their effects are negated permanently, even if you well, no, I'm sorry, not permanently. It's until the end of the turn. That's fair. That is fair. But their effects are negated totally until the end of the turn, and then your opponent cannot activate any cards or effects for the rest of the turn as well. So they're actually just watching you play. And then we have 1 Dark Matter for our Archbrave and Goliath combo, and it helps to banish your opponent's monsters, kind of allows you to cycle through for the utility. We have Cypher Blade, we have Full Armor. You should know the little Galaxy package, especially if you know Blue Eyes. We do have Prime Photon. He's really good in this deck. He comes out normally he comes out as a minimum as a 5,600 beater, but you're able to summon him next to your other guys, so he can become 7,200, 90, he can become 7,200, 8,800, and then when your opponent kills him, he can revive himself as an 8K beater, 8,000, and you could put Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon under him, and he'll have another detach to boost himself higher than 8,000. It's ridiculous. This is probably the biggest beater in your deck. You can OTK so easily with this card. He's way too good to not play. We have Tachyon. He's pretty much another battle god. When you battle with him, your opponent, all their monsters are negated, and their attack goes to their original attack. And if your opponent activates anything, he gains an 1,000 attack, and he gets an additional attack. So you don't want to activate anything in your battle phase when you have this. When I have this card on the field, it's really good. We have generics are just Divine the Felgrand. I don't have Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy, or I would be playing that. You could play a lot of other generic rank 8s, but what comes up more than often is this guy and your other Galaxy package. So it's really hard to make room, but right now I'm playing the Felgrand. I will put Hope Harbinger in there later on. We have True King of All Chlamydia. It's so easy to make this card. It really is. Unfortunately, your Galaxy Expedition does not summon level 4 or lower Galaxy or Photons. Otherwise, you could just literally have a 2-card combo to making Calamities. So you have to waste your search on Photon Satellite. Well, it's not really a waste because Calamities is so one-sided. He beats every deck. And then we have the Infinity package. You can play other Ring 5s if you want. And then we have 2 Hyperstars. I have to proxy them because I don't have them. I know that they're out. I know that they're legal. I just don't have them. But yeah, you guys, that pretty much concludes the deck profile. I do hope that you enjoyed it. I went pretty in-depth because nobody really knows what this deck does. Use my deck as a building guide if you want to play Galaxy Eyes. Definitely use this list. Follow this list. Don't watch that other trash. I mean, I couldn't even find a good build on YouTube. I literally had to just go purely off of memory on how I used to play this deck and rebuild it, and it's still the best build that you'll find right now. There are online builds that are on people's computers, but you guys know my style. I'm purely live, real cards, you know, in your face, the actual cardboard. I'm not having you watch a computer screen and me just point stuff with my mouse. But thank you guys so much. Y'all have a beautiful night and be safe. And I do have another deck profile coming very soon. Peace.